Hello, everyone, and welcome to a special emergency episode of Let's Chat Reality. I'm Michael,
And I'm Molly.
and we are here today to cover everything going on in the Taylor Frankie Paul universe. So, Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, The Bachelorette, everything is all up in flames right now. So, there's a lot to get to. But, Molly, are you ready to break down everything that happened just hours ago? If
Yeah.
everything
No,
happened today.
literally everything. And there's still stuff coming out. Like now Taylor's team has made a statement and all this stuff is just so breaking. We needed to talk about it.
Yeah. This was not expected that we were going to record this today, but had planned in the next couple of weeks to do a Secret Lives of Mormon Wives season 4 recap. I've watched the whole season, but that honestly all kind of feels outdated and irrelevant now. So we're going to kind of use this as our mini Secret Lives of Mormon Wives recap, as well as just mostly focusing on everything going on with Taylor and ABC's decision today to cancel her season of The Bachelorette that was supposed to air in just 3 days on Sunday on ABC, and now is being replaced by an American Idol rerun. So there is a
Yeah.
lot that has happened, but before we get into all of that, I just kind of wanted to give a brief recap for those who may not be fully aware of how this all started. So, Taylor Frankie Paul last year was announced as the lead of the new season of The Bachelorette, which originally wasn't even supposed to be happening. Originally, ABC had announced that The Bachelorette was taking a break for a year, and they were only going to do a new season of The Bachelor instead. But then months later, that decision was reversed, and it was announced that not only would there be a season of The Bachelorette, but it was going to be helmed by a completely new production team that had started working on the show with last season of Bachelor in Paradise. So if you notice, that season looked completely different. There was a whole new vibe to it, a whole new feel, and that was going to continue with The Bachelorette this season. And they had chosen someone who was not at all involved in the Bachelor universe, but was certainly part of the Disney family. So Taylor Frankie Paul is on Hulu's Secret Lives of Mormon Wives and has had a very controversial past, a very well known figure, and had famously become a public figure due to a swinging scandal where she was swinging with some of her mom talk friend group. Who did TikToks together. It was a whole, they had gained popularity through that. But they were in the spotlight after this. She just completely blew the lid open on this whole scandal. And then it was revealed in 2023 that she was involved in a domestic violence dispute with her ex, Dakota. Dakota was not the father of the child who was there
Injured. Yeah.
present
Yeah.
during their feud. So
Yeah.
she has two children with her ex before Dakota.
Yeah.
And at that time, she did not have a child with Dakota,
Hmm.
who the fight was involved with. However,
Now she
later she does have a child ever with Dakota.
Yeah, there's a lot of layers there.
Yes. So this was all known. This was all like when the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, the premiere episode ends on a cliffhanger with footage from this dispute. That not the dispute itself, but her outside of the house talking to cops right after that happened. So this was all very well known information. However, the footage of the incident itself was not released until today, March 19th, 2026. And when people saw this footage, it just kind of, everyone started the whole conversation about that just completely started over again. And people were like, we don't really feel comfortable watching this anymore. Like, this is a lot. And so ABC decided to cancel the season after doing all this promotion. She had just been on all these talk shows. Just a couple days ago, there was another alleged incident that happened with Dakota, and
And
we don't
filming
know.
paused.
filming on Secret Lives of Mormon Wives season 5 was already ongoing, and that paused. And it's just a lot has been coming out these last couple of days. So, Molly, that was a lot all at once. I
Yeah.
apologize. But what are your thoughts kind of as these last few days have been ongoing?
Yeah, no, I feel like it's just one after the other, just continues to see something more with Taylor this week. And I feel like if this video hadn't come out, I honestly think ABC would have still gone forward with this season with just like the allegations of what happened. And everyone also knew about the domestic violence that happened back in 2023. It just wasn't on video for us to see yet. Or maybe it was there, just hadn't been resurfaced, or like people weren't looking at it. But today really just I feel like the news cycle is just now it's like, okay, it needs to be canceled. And all the with how her past has been, also with her from this end of the season of Secret Lives, where she almost doesn't even make the flight to go. It just seems like she just wasn't in that mindset also going into the show. But I'm curious, I mean, I feel bad, honestly, I feel for her also. And I feel like she's just really, she has a lot going on right now, but it's like it's obviously the right move to cancel the show as of now.
Yeah, I mean, I have to fully agree with that. I think that over the last few days, there's been this question of does ABC hate this or love this? Because on one hand, yeah, it's a lot. This is very serious allegations, and even before this video came out, like I mentioned, like there was allegedly another dispute just a few days ago, and it's like okay, we thought that maybe like she had grown and learned since the first incident, but clearly the season of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives showed that she kept going back to Dakota and sleeping with Dakota and then fighting with him and then sleeping with him. And then, like, it was just this constant unhealthy cycle where it was very clear that, like, they had slept together allegedly the night
The
before
night
she
before.
left to go film Bachelorette. And then she missed her first flight. She wouldn't get out of bed. She wouldn't go to film. She wouldn't, like, do anything. And it was just clear, like, okay, she went into the season not in a headspace that a bachelorette should be going into the season that they are about to lead. And she was not ready for a new relationship. And then everything came out. There were all these spoilers from the season. You know, I'll give everyone a second to pause it or fast forward if they don't want to know what would have happened on the season that's not airing. But allegedly, she chose, I forgot his name, the one that looks just like
Doug.
Dakota. Doug? Yeah,
Yeah. Another D name also.
another D. And they allegedly broke up very shortly after that because she kept going back to Dakota. And so it was just like, okay, we all know this is a complete waste of time for us to be watching, but also people are talking about it. There's a lot of promotion about the season. And are people going to at least watch the premiere and the finale so that we can see kind of how it starts, what the vibe is of the season, what gets talked about and what doesn't when they first go in? And then people maybe would want to come back for the finale or the live after the final rose to see what happened, what she says, what's been happening since then, yada, yada, yada. So they could have potentially gotten higher ratings than they did for Jen's season. There's certainly more talk about it, but is that worth it? And I think this video coming out just really solidified the fact that no, it's not worth it. We can't go through with this.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. I feel like the also how ABC was trying to do something different and maybe went in touch a really different direction. Like they had these facts when they chose Taylor. It just they didn't choose to put it at the forefront. And now that this is coming out, I'm glad ABC actually is taking action at it and is pausing the show.
Yeah. So I think the question now, well, there's a few questions,
Yeah.
but the first one that I have is should ABC have chosen Taylor in the first place? Like we said, they've known about all this information before when they chose her. I think when it was first came out, yes, it was controversial, but I do think there was a good large segment of the audience that also was willing to overlook that.
Yeah.
And was that a mistake, or was all of this coming out more than they could have anticipated?
Yeah, I definitely think it's more than they could have anticipated at this moment in time. I think with even in our viewing of Mormon Wives, I feel like we didn't necessarily get like as negative of that view until like this video came out. And so I think that's really shifted the viewers' perspectives now as well in terms of all the fans. People are still rallying behind Taylor, but definitely a lot fewer people now, I would say. In terms of like what can you really say, there's video proof. Like obviously she needs help, she was going through a time mentally, and like she's grown since then, but it's still like she has had another experience allegedly this week too that now adds to the fact. But so I don't think ABC was expecting for that to happen when they chose her. So, but then I think they could have come up with a backup plan while this was occurring. Like they were noticing these red flags, but then didn't say anything in that time. Like I definitely think the first choice of her was correct, but then I think they should have countered it later.
Hmm. Yeah. Um, I don't know. I'm really torn on this, to be totally honest with you, because I do think that even just reading the details of this video, like, yes, the video really puts into perspective how bad it was. Like, we all knew kind of the details of like she threw a chair, allegedly, allegedly, allegedly. Do we have to say that? There's a video. I don't know.
No, now
But
the chair is real, but I mean the ones that happened like a couple weeks ago with Dakota.
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But no, with this one, the
Yeah.
2023 incident, like she threw chairs, like her
And her
child is
daughter was
her
present.
daughter's
That was
right.
the saddest part for me, hearing that.
Oh my god, that was awful, and but these are all details that we knew. These
Yeah.
were all public. None of this was,
Mhm.
like, surprising, but I think it was just surprising to be like, "Oh, no, it's as bad or worse than" like, because I think you can kinda convince yourself, like, "Oh, maybe it wasn't quite. Maybe it's, like, a slight exaggeration, or maybe the kid was, like, on the other side of the room or, like, in a different room and just, like, home at the same time," or, like, like you just try to justify it in your head so that you can watch this show as entertainment and not feel too horrible about yourself for it. But then when you watch it, it's like, oh no, there's no there's no two ways about it. And I
Mhm.
think that it's one thing to have her be part of an ensemble where she could leave the show and the show Secret Lives of Mormon Wives still could go on. And we'll talk about that. Like, can that happen? But I think it's a different thing for her to be like the lead of this show, the main person who everyone is trying to date. And like, I think that when someone has that much of a spotlight on them, you're bound to get this level of like criticism about that choice. And everything from your past is going to resurface and kind of be looked at in a different lens of where we are today and the information that we have now. And it's like, yeah, this is a controversial choice, but I think that's kind of what they were hoping for. They wanted people to talk about it. And if they chose Miranda, for example, who I think a lot of people are like right now saying they should have chosen Miranda, she would have been a great choice. Yeah, she would have been a really good choice, but you're not going to get the same headlines from that. Like, she's not as big of a personality and she's not quite as big of a name as Taylor. And so it's like,
Yeah, they were
yeah,
making
of
a
course
big
they're
risk. They were taking a big risk, but also worth the gamble, or they were thinking.
yeah, exactly, and this one just didn't pay off in the
Yeah.
end because everything came out, and now they're left with no choice here. But so there are 2 shows now that are kind of in limbo. The Bachelorette, which of course this season's not gonna air, but do you think that The Bachelorette will continue on? The Bachelor franchise will still continue on? What direction are they gonna go in? What's the future of it?
Yeah, no, now that this is all happening, it really does put into question like what will happen with the Bachelorette. I foresee it continuing. I think that there's still that fan base there who would rally behind someone who's, I don't know who, but someone that's maybe not from the Bachelorette, still going outside of the realm of the Bachelor, like from the seasons of Bachelor like franchise. Like I think going maybe someone from Love Island, I don't know if they could do that, but, like, choose
That's
someone.
too cross-pollination
Yeah,
maybe,
too
yeah.
cross-pollination, but from something else that's, like, you could recognize them, but they're not from anything too crazy like Taylor's experience, but, I don't know. I don't know who it would be, but I think that the Bachelorette still can continue.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I have been saying that I think they should have chosen Brooks Nader from the start.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think that would have been like, you still get the Hulu, the Disney synergy because she has her own Hulu show, her family has their own show. She was very prevalent in the news with Gleb at the time, especially last year when the choice was made for Taylor, and she is kind of that similar, like, personality, I feel like, where she's not just, like, this shrinking violet, this, like, goody two-shoes. She wouldn't have as I don't think she would have gotten as many, like, headlines and controversy as they probably wanted, so I think, like, they went with Taylor because the name recognition's a little bit bigger, the controversial, like, aspect of people talking about it was gonna be more, but you wouldn't have had the legal troubles. So, maybe that would have been worth it to go with the slightly safer route, but also kind of getting a fan base outside of just people who watch The Bachelor and Bachelor Nation, and starting a new story so that people feel like they can jump in from this season and not have missed anything because they didn't watch last season of Bachelor. You know what I mean? Like, I think that that was probably a large part of what they were going for. So I think that someone in that vein, like where there's still kind of this they're in the Disney universe already, is probably what they're hoping for. So I don't know. Someone in that vein I could see them doing, but I'll be totally honest. I don't know that I see it continue. I think this could be
Yeah.
the end
You think
because
it's over?
they lost millions and millions of dollars by doing this. They were already, like, really on their last legs in terms of, like, doing anything to revive the franchise. They got a whole new production team. They got a whole new, like, look to the show, a whole new, like, someone outside of the world. They already were, like, they canceled Paradise 2 years ago. They canceled The Bachelor. Like, they weren't gonna have a Bachelor season this year already. Like, it was already making so many changes to make it still exist, and I don't know what they do at this point. Like, I don't know. I think this I'm not saying 100%, but I wouldn't be surprised if this was the end
Yeah.
for a while. Maybe they bring it back in, like, 5 years.
Yeah.
And, like, a revamped version of it, something like that, like, a different format, a different, like, just a different feel to it, but I think the show that we know might be
Yeah,
done.
I mean, I know that all the costs and everything, it's definitely gonna put them in a deep hole, so I feel like with that, it's like how unless they get some crazy investors, but I don't think that's gonna happen for the Bachelorette franchise, so I do think it's gonna look different.
Yeah, like, I just don't think that it's a franchise anymore it's not their crown jewel anymore. Like,
Mhm.
Dancing with the Stars is probably their crown jewel.
Yeah.
Like, The Bachelor used to be for a long time, but it's really not anymore, and so I don't know that they're gonna go through lengths to save it.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know. The other
We'll
show,
see.
however, that is also in limbo at this point is Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. They had started production on season 5. I don't know exactly how far into it they got. I don't think that far, maybe a few weeks. And then they paused it when this new domestic violence allegation surfaced. And I think there's potential that maybe they knew this video was going to come out. I don't know. Maybe there were rumblings that that might happen, that more was coming, and so they were just like, we gotta pause for a minute here. And the cast allegedly was the ones who initiated this and said they did not feel comfortable filming with Taylor at this point anymore. Do you think now, does the show continue filming this season? I can't imagine Taylor continues filming, but do you think that they film without her? Do you think that how long do you think this is going to be paused for? What are your predictions?
Yeah. Well, now with seeing the video, I definitely think Taylor will not be back. But I think the show can continue on, like, because you as you were saying, like, it's an ensemble, like, there's still so many people. We have Whitney, Jen, Jesse, Michaela, like, there's still so many girls left, Layla, Miranda. So there's still plenty of people that we can follow that Taylor doesn't have to be in the picture there. So I think that the show will still continue on, but I just don't know how long it's gonna be paused for. Obviously, this is a big thing happening with one of the main people in the cast. So obviously it's going to change things, but I do see it continuing on. It's such a large franchise right now, and people love most of the cast members, not just like everyone, just like Taylor. So I think there's still projection for there.
Yeah, I do think that they continue filming without Taylor because I think people want to see what the girls' reaction to this is and how they come together as a group without Taylor, the kind of leader of Mom Talk for however many years now. And it's like, what does this look like without Taylor? Can Taylor ever come back in a couple years? Like, I think people are going to be interested to see what this looks like. It almost reminds me a bit of like Real Housewives of Salt Lake City when Jen Shaw got arrested, where it's like
Yeah.
she was like the main name of that show for the first couple years, and then that all happens, and then everyone's like, "What does this look like without her?" And it's continued on and become even better without her, to be honest. But I think that it could be kind of a similar thing with Taylor here, where I think that this show definitely can continue on without her and should. I just don't know what that looks like exactly. I don't know how long they're going to wait. I hope they start filming yesterday. I mean, I want to see everybody's raw, real reactions to this. And it's really sad. I mean, like, it's really not like entertainment. Like, this is a sad, heavy incident that shouldn't be taken lightly, but I do think it will be fascinating to watch to see how everyone reacts to it.
Yes, definitely. I know, it's why I hope it doesn't stay paused for long as well, because this is happening real time. If they were filming, like, they could be getting the real time reactions there, which, I mean, doesn't have to be exactly the moment, but like the week of it happening,
Yeah.
generally speaking. But I think, yeah, it's all sad. This is all happening, but I feel like it's real because there's kids involved. There's like it's all the lawsuits. Like, I don't even know. I just saw that Dakota did file a restraining order against her. So it's
Mhm.
just a lot of stuff
And
that's
filed for
happening
custody of
and Charles
of
custody. Yeah.
Ever,
So
right? Yeah.
yeah. So there's a lot that Taylor's going to be dealing with. That I don't think she wouldn't be back filming anyways. But like they just need to take her out of the equation. But then how do they continue on without it? Is going to be what the show has to figure out.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be very interesting, and I'll be curious to see if Taylor ever comes back to the show, ever
Mhm.
comes back to Mom Talk. Like, is this the end permanently, or in a couple years once she works on herself and makes changes in her life, would she want to come back? Would ABC and Hulu want her to come back? I don't know. I really don't know what that looks like, but whatever it is, I hope that the show continues on and doesn't end here, because I know really like revolves around her today, but I do think there's enough people, especially like if Whitney stays in, she's become a huge name too. Like, I think there's plenty of people who have become big enough names within that group that I think people are curious and interested to watch, that I do think that the show can work without her. It'll just look very different.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, before we go, because we're not going to be doing another full Secret Lives of Mormon Wives season 4 recap, this kind of is in place of that. Just wanted to quickly hit on some other highlights from the season. I think the biggest other thing that did not involve Taylor was the Jen and Whitney feud towards the end of the season, where, of course, they were both filming Dancing with the Stars. They seemed to kind of that bond them at the start, and then quickly that dissolved. That Whitney was upset because when she got the role in Chicago, Jen knew about it about like a week before Whitney told her, but then Jen did not congratulate Whitney when she found out, and Whitney was very hurt by that. And they had a huge fight when they were in the makeup chair going to film their opening titles for season 4, which is so meta.
I know.
But that's what this show has become,
Yeah.
which I love. But they, yeah, that really was the main kind of fight between them. And then later on, Zach went and met up with Whitney after that to kind of apologize, not apologize. I don't
He
know.
was more just accusing Whitney of what she was doing to Jen when it's not him who's being
Yeah.
accused.
What did you think of this feud? Whose side were you on? And what did you think of Zach coming in Jen's place to that lunch in the finale?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I wanted them to be friends. Like I liked in the beginning of the season when they were getting along and it seemed like they were on the mend, and then obviously with everything that unfolded, that didn't last very long. But I don't know. I feel like Jen is jealous of Whitney first off. Like Whitney is really accomplishing a lot and got casted on an amazing show in Broadway. She's now selling out like the highest grossing of all of Chicago's been. So Whitney's killing it. But in this setting, didn't know that was gonna happen. But here, Jen is still just like she's eliminated first after Dancing with the Stars. Then like, I feel like there's all the emotions that were happening for Jen just made her like not want to be with Whitney basically. And I felt bad for because Whitney wasn't really doing anything herself. You know, she was just doing what she was trying to accomplish. So I am more Team Whitney on this side just because like I think she's not really in the wrong here. I mean, Jen has a right to feel the way she does as well, but just the way she went about it, I didn't appreciate.
Yeah, I'm on Team Whitney too with this. I think that to me, this felt a lot like Jen thinking Whitney was going to be the villain. And so she wanted to be not nice to her, not on her side, because she wants America to like her and to still be, not because it's like, okay, Demi is associated, or Whitney is associated with Demi, who's the villain, and so because of that, Whitney's not liked by America at this point in real time, I guess. And so Jen thinks, oh, I don't want to be associated with Whitney and Demi, and I want to still be on the side that America is on. And so it just kind of to me was giving trying to appease Twitter. And uh, so
That's not
yeah, I disappointed in Jen here. I think that there was a very different way to go about it. Like I can understand maybe Jen didn't think that Whitney wanted her to know about it yet. Like I don't know how Jen found out about Whitney getting Chicago. So I think there is a world where like she thought, "Oh, I don't want to say anything to Whitney because I don't want her to like know that somebody told me about it who wasn't supposed to tell me about it yet because she hadn't told her." So I think there's like a world where that could be the case, but if that's the case then just say it. And Jen didn't say that. So you know, I was disappointed in Jen with that, and but I think that there's definitely a world where they come back together and are friends again in a year. I don't think this is like friendship ending forever.
I agree.
Well, then, really, like the other main thing, I think, big topic to talk about here is the Shania of it all. So, Shania is one of Miranda's very close friends for a long time, who turns out was sleeping with Dakota, and she was trying to befriend Taylor and was talking to Taylor, like confiding in her about things. We saw her film with Taylor once, I think only on the season, before this whole thing came out of her sleeping with Dakota. And then, Taylor finds out about it and goes ballistic on Shania and basically tells Miranda, you have to choose be Shania's friend or my friend. What are your thoughts on this? Despite everything that's been going on with Taylor, like with this, are you on Taylor's side or are you on Miranda Shania side?
I mean, I feel like I'm more I don't know. It's a tricky one here, but I think in general, like Shania and Taylor, like if they are still close friends, like, it's bad, but it seems like they're not as close on these terms, like, recently, like, but, I mean, she's best friends with Miranda, and Taylor's friends with Miranda, so everyone's connected, so there's still, like, I mean, but in Utah, like, I feel like everyone's already intertwining with each other anyway, so it's like, how many degrees apart can you get from someone? So, like, I think I'm more on Miranda and Shania's side on that because it's like, well, Taylor and Dakota weren't together at that
Right.
time. It's not like he was cheating on her then. So I mean, which he has cheated on her, so I guess it could have happened. But in general, just like I feel like with this scenario, it's more just that Taylor was upset because obviously she still has feelings for Dakota and she's just gonna lash on anything that she can, and it's just a spiral for her.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if she should be mad at anyone, it's Dakota because Dakota keeps. And you look, the one thing that Dakota does do that I think does not help things, well, maybe not the one, like there's probably multiple, but one of the main ones is that he keeps sleeping with people who are very close in Taylor's world, like her mother's best friend, whoever that was last season.
Well, they were
And
flirting.
Flirty, sure,
Yeah.
yes. Thank you. And now Shania, and like he just needs to go outside of this bubble. Like find somebody who is not associated with Taylor in any way, because you're not helping matters when you do this. You know that Taylor is going to be upset when she finds out. You know she's going to find out, and it's like just don't poke the bear.
Mhm.
But I agree. I think that uh, Miranda should choose Shania's side. If Taylor makes her choose a side, I think if anyone really like ever makes you like choose a side, choose the other person's side because your
Yeah.
good friend's probably not going to make you like choose a side like that. But unless it's something like really egregious, which this was not. Like again, Shania was not that close with Taylor, from my understanding, and so it's like it's not great, but it's not worth does not warrant the reaction that Taylor gave
Yeah.
to it. And it's just like this is a pattern now that Taylor needs to just let Dakota go or be with like you got to choose one or the other. You
Yeah.
can't just be in this limbo state where you are free to go on the Bachelorette, you are free to date whoever, but Dakota can't because you want him on this leash and you want him to always be there for you when you decide that you want him. Like it's just it feels like there's this weird limbo state that they live in that is not healthy for anyone.
No, they're both bringing out each other's toxicities.
Exactly, exactly. Well, as more develops with this, we'll come back maybe with when we record our next episode, our Survivor 50 recap. If any major updates occur, maybe we'll at the beginning of next episode just kind of give quick updates on this because this is all, like I said, like breaking in real time as we record this. So I'm sure there will be more to come, but we had to pop in now because there had just been so much that happened to talk about, and so I'm glad we got to talk through this and give our thoughts on everything going on here.
Yes, exactly. I'm glad we could chat through this now, and we'll obviously be keeping up with everything on socials and everywhere. So also follow us and subscribe wherever you get your podcast so you can stay tuned for what's next.
Absolutely. Well, we will chat with y'all very soon for our next Survivor 50 episode 4 recap. So stay tuned for that. And until then, thank you so much for listening or watching on YouTube. And we will chat with y'all later.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.